Well, hey y'all, welcome to Tidy Up Tuesday. Today we made something pretty. Woohoo! Last week we were talking about visiting each room and we were dusting lampshades and all the things. And if you wanted to take a notepad and kind of take notes on things in that room that needed to be spruced up, fixed, made pretty, whatever. Well, I was in the living room. I painted this door kind of that, I'll see if I can find a picture, but you'll see whenever I start painting what color it was. It was a light green, not really a seafoam or a mint, but it was a light green. And I guess I'd gotten blind to it, and whenever the door is open, it clashed with everything else in this living room. And it dawned on me, that's how we go blind to things, y'all, whenever we just get used to them in their native land. And so anyway, I decided to redo this door, but I was on a mission not to spend not one red cent, and I did not. I dug around in my closet and I found this green paint, and I'll put a thing at the end so you can see what the color is. But this is the color that I painted our den. And we're going to enclose the front porch, and I have a gallon of it, and I think that's the color I'm going to use whenever we enclose this front porch. So it's going to be kind of a wintertime room, but we have already gone off the rails. So in this video, I'll kind of do a voiceover, and I'm going to speed it up so y'all don't be as boring as watching paint dry, literally. But I took off my eye peepee hole up there, and I took off the lock, and I took off this handle. Now, I'm not going to replace this handle because this door and that handle, I've been stirring up dust, y'all. It's like 60 years old. It's almost as old as me. And I kind of like, it's kind of an old Victorian, I don't know if it's Victorian or whatever the style is, but I didn't want to replace it because it came with the house, and, I didn't want to do that. So, anyway, I painted this door. I washed it down really good, and then I used a Mr. Clean on it and wiped it all down, got it really good and clean. And while I was at it, I cleaned around the white part of the door thing that goes out into the garage. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this little video. This is your encouragement to find something in your house. Your ducks do not have to be in a row before you can start making things pretty. Sometimes we just have to venture off and leave all that stuff over there. Y'all go do something pretty, whether it's rearranging the cushions on your sofa if they've been that way 1,100 years, or swapping out two pictures on a wall just to make it different. Y'all are smart and crafty. There's things that y'all can do in your house that'll make it just a little bit different. It'll lift your spirits, and you can stand back and go, I did a pretty doggone good job on that one right there. So this is just your encouragement video. Find something and make it better. And I got faith in y'all. And I'll put the link to, and I don't know, let's see, Farrell Calhoun is who the paint person was, the company. So, and I'll put a link to the color and everything, because I really do like this color. It's kind of like a pool table green, I guess you would say, kind of, sort of. Anyway, there it is. I love it. Makes me happy. And it goes with the rest of the room. So, y'all hang on and watch the rest of this video, and I'll see you next week. Bye, y'all. Well, I started by taking off all of the hardware, and I washed the door down really good with some warm, hot, sudsy water and rinsed it off, and used a magic eraser. Now I'm stirring this paint that's been in the closet for over 10 years and never opened. Guess who forgot to push record? Okay, on these indentations on the doors, I take a small brush that's angled, and I just go inside the indentions, and then I smooth around the edges, and then I've got just a sponge roller that's for cabinets and doors, and I'm just going to do the parts that popped out, that's not all sunk in like the other, and I'll do the inside of these door things first. And then we got a text with Kathy and Carol because Facebook business side was giving us fits, so we had a few things to talk over. So we got that all straightened out, and now let's get back to it. Okay, so now we're just going to paint the rest of the door, filling up our roller really well in between each time whenever it runs out. And I absolutely love painting. There's something so methodically relaxing about it. Believe it or not, I think I could paint from here to the moon and back. But we're just going to give this first coat, and then we're going to let it dry really well. And there we are. The first coat is finished. Now we let it dry. Okay, so we're back to the second coat. And I decided after the first coat dried, I did not like the way the sponge roller looked. So I'm going to paint this entire door using my 1.5-inch angled paintbrush. But that suits me fine because then I can get in there and get all those little nooks and crannies. The second and third coat are dry, and now I'm going to put the hardware back on it. And I'm not going to replace any of this hardware. I'm just going to use what we had because we're not spending not one red cent on any of this. And I'm putting this vintage, because it's almost as old as me, doorknobs back on. And then I'll get the one with the sensor also. And there it is, the finished product. And here's our Farrell Calhoun paint. And it is so old, I cannot find the name of it, but it's a dark green with a touch of blue.